Good afternoon, I'm Malcolm Jordan and this is your Midday News Fix for Tuesday the 16th of January. We're expecting to hear more from the Green Party today about the situation facing Grie Gman. The MP now faces a third allegation of shoplifting. Stuff reports Wellington's Creative Works reported shoplifting in October when they believe Gman was on the premises. Newstalk ZB's Shannon Johnstone says the store reportedly emailed the allegation to other businesses.
Police have confirmed to our newsroom that they've received a report of shoplifting at Creative Works on October 26 last year, and inquiries are ongoing. This comes just days after news of two incidents that happened at Scotty's Boutique in Auckland's Ponsonby last month.
A local government researcher says councils may start struggling to recruit as staff harassment grows. Thames Coromandel Mayor Len Salt replied to an email to a constituent saying, "Go F yourself, kind regards Len." Stuff reports the person associated with an anti-authority group aggressively targeting councils had asked for personal details of staff. Andy Asquith says he understands people taking issue with Salt's expletive.
The language was distinctly unmayoral and should be frowned upon and should not be condoned in any way. But I have to say the sentiments of what the Mayor said, I support 100%.
The final review of New Zealand's electoral system has been released with more than 140 recommendations. Justice Minister Paul Goldsmith has already ruled out some, such as lowering the voting age to 16 and letting prisoners vote and stand for Parliament. The government has already committed to a referendum on the parliamentary term and is now considering the other recommendations. QV is forecasting slow and steady growth in the housing market this year. Operations Manager James Wilson says the biggest handbrake on home value growth is high interest rates, which are here to stay.
We might get a little bit of softening around the fringes or sort of more likely bouncing up and down as banks might get more competitive. Some of the cost of overseas capital for the banks might trend downwards for some consecutive months, and that might have a slight impact.
However, there is a glimmer of hope on that front, with Kiwibank becoming the latest bank to cut home loan rates. It's also reducing term deposit rates, following a decrease in wholesale rates for banks. But Infometrics principal economist Brad Olsen says these lower rates for banks are still not being fully passed on to customers. 4 Nelson motorists lost their licences within 1 hour on Sunday evening. The vehicles were travelling at more than 140 kilometres an hour and were among 7 caught speeding on Whataku Drive. 7 motorists were caught driving with excess alcohol and many others were using cell phones. Licences are immediately suspended for drivers caught going 40 kilometres an hour over the limit. New data reveals less than half of New Zealand adults are meeting global guidelines for daily exercise. Exercise New Zealand Chief Executive Richard Beddy says it's a growing health crisis that needs immediate action. To sport, lock Patrick Tuipolotu will captain the Blues this Super Rugby Pacific season, taking over from Dalton Papali'i. Boxers David Nika and Joseph Parker will fight on February 17 and March 8 respectively as part of undercards in Saudi Arabia for the Anthony Joshua Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk heavyweight bouts. And 45-year-old Spanish motorcyclist Carlos Falcon, who crashed last week on the Dakar Rally in Saudi Arabia, has died of his injuries. I'm Malcolm Jordan. That's your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update at 5 p.m. from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.